folks, Aunt Diane here. Today I'm going to discuss a catfish case which unfortunately leads to murder, and there was also a TV movie done about the topic. The movie is called Tall, Hot Blonde, and it is about, well, I'm going to introduce the characters. The main character in this true story, his name is Thomas. A man in his late 40s, average guy with a family, works in a factory, has a wife, a couple kids, a dog, average dude. The next character I'm going to introduce is Thomas's wife. We're going to refer to her as wife. Middle-aged, average woman, works in the front office of a medical practice. Thomas also has two little girls. We're going to refer to them as daughters. Thomas's buddy, who he works with, is named Brian. Good-looking stud in his early 20s. Works with him and hangs out with him outside of work, too. Ooh, and let's not forget one of the main characters. Tall, hot blonde. Thomas gets together with the guys for a regular poker night with the beefcake, of course, Brian. And they tell him about this website where you can go on and play games online and you could chat with people. So that's the first thing he does when he gets home. As soon as Thomas gets home, his wife goes to bed. He says, I'm going to stay up a while. He gets on the website that his buddies tell him about. He sees his friend Brian on there, whose handle is Beefcake. So Thomas makes a name called Marine Sniper. Tall, hot blonde comes on the screen and chats him up a bit. And after talking for a while, he realizes it's getting late and he needs to get to bed. So they agree to meet online again the next day. Of course, he's not a 47-year-old married man. No, he's a 19-year-old stud who's in the military, which he was at an earlier time in his life. Before long, these two started getting on the computer every day and having an online love affair that started out as kind of like a flirty thing. And then it became a love affair, I guess, online. Now, Thomas didn't really worry because the girl lived hundreds of miles away, so he didn't think they'd ever meet. Then she asked for them to exchange pictures. First, Jessie, a.k.a. Tall Hot Blonde, sends a hot-looking picture of herself in a bikini. Then Thomas, a.k.a. Marine Sniper, sends her this picture from 30 years ago. Before long, these two star-crossed lovers start sending each other things in the mail. Thomas makes sure to get home from work before his wife so he can get what's in the mailbox before his wife sees it. Thomas starts exercising after work so he can get back in his former shape, like when he was 19. Thomas's wife is feeling neglected and starting to get a bit suspicious that he gets on the computer. He doesn't let her see what's on the screen. In fact, he got his own laptop and doesn't let anybody use it. He goes for walks and runs after work and to take the dog for a walk, and the daughter's asked to go. He says, no, I just want to go along with the dog. Whereas in the past, he always let the girls go with him, but now he's acting very strange. Thomas actually loses touch with reality, saying that the old Thomas no longer exists. Now he is the 19-year-old Thomas, and he starts having fantasies of this young lady, Jessie, and young Thomas saying romantic things to one another. Now remember, back in these days, you couldn't really live text. This was only the mid 2000s, I believe, 2005. So live texting, where you could see each other face to face, wasn't really a thing then. Now, although Thomas had his chat room password protected, he did not have his computer protected, I guess, because his daughter was using it. And then an instant message from Jessie popped up. So she ran and got her mother. Her mother read through all the provocative emails between them and saw that he was pretending to be his 19-year-old self. At which point, the wife wrote a letter to Jessie, enclosing a picture of the whole family with Thomas at his current age and explaining the whole thing. The man you've been texting with is not a young man. He is my husband. We're married for so and so many years. We have children, and you have to be careful with who you meet online because a lot of people are not who they say they are. After confronting Thomas, and he apologized and said, I never meant for it to get that far. It started out as just a lighthearted thing, whatever, blah, 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 blah. He said he promised to break it off immediately, and he earned himself a spot in the garage as his new bedroom. After the word was officially out, Tall Hot Blonde writes him and says, I can't believe you did this to me. I hate you. Then she starts flirting and texting with Beefcake Brian. They both started spreading the word on the chat page, what Thomas did, and warning about him, which infuriated Thomas. But, she still teased and sent little texts to Thomas saying she missed the young Thomas, who told her, I'm still here, but he's also going to get even with Brian for what he did. Meanwhile, Brian wanted to go visit Jessie a couple 100 miles away, but he was willing to make the trip, but she made an excuse why she can't meet him. But then the next weekend, I guess, he was going to go visit her or something. And as he was getting in his truck at work, he was shot. Thomas fled the scene immediately and went straight home and told his family, pack your things, we're going on a camping trip. It was a quick last-minute overnight camping trip, and the family was surprised he suddenly wanted to go. And he even got romantic with his wife that night, which surprised her. Upon returning home, Thomas was immediately arrested. Brian had passed away, and Thomas had left evidence behind at the scene. Police also went to the young girl's house to warn her. And guess who answered the door? Her mom answered the door, and it turned out her mom was pretending to be Jessie, using her pictures, sending them. She was catfishing too. The real teenage Jessie had no idea that any of this was going on. To end this sad story, Thomas took a plea deal and got at least 20 years in prison. Jessie's mom, who pretended to be Jessie, there wasn't anything that they could arrest her for, at least at the time. But she, the public knew about her after the story came out. So, of course, she was humiliated. Her husband left her, and her daughter, Jessie, no longer speaks to her. Oh, yes, and before I forget, the movie review. It was good. Even though I told you the whole story, it's still a very interesting story to watch. I saw it on, I saw it on Lifetime True Movies, of course. There are also, I think, a couple of true crimers that covered the story on YouTube. And there are also a couple of those police documentary shows talking about the case. And it is a very interesting movie. and I watch everything I can on the topic, because not all scammers are people that are in other countries trying to get you money. Some of them are just regular, everyday people that have some sick desire to pretend they're somebody else. So please be careful out there. Okay? Love you. See you next time. Bye-bye.